The train slowed as it approached the stop at Redwood Falls, a dilapidated station in the heart of Minnesota. The stop was only a couple of minutes. But I wasn't worried. At the exit, it was just me and some old man in a plaid shirt. And rightly so. Who else would willingly travel to such a backwater? Unless, like me, you're visiting your mother. She's elderly now, living alone. I'd begged her 100 times to move to St. Paul. But no. I was born here, and I'll die here, is all she says. It wouldn't be so bad if this were just a regular village, but there are literally 2 houses, a mailbox, and that's it. No grocery store. You either drive to the next town or wait for the trailer store that comes once a week. Mom keeps a couple of chickens and a garden, so she doesn't go hungry, but this isn't living, it's slow degradation. When I was a kid, there was at least a school, a mini market, a church, a bus. Now, it's all gone. The youth fled, leaving only the elderly. They used to find them dead right in their homes. Not on the street, not in the field, in the house. Mom said she hadn't noticed anything strange, and you almost believe her, but still, it's unsettling. The train stopped, and I got off, helping the old man out. He turned out to be a visitor, heading to his sister's. He hadn't heard of any strange deaths or messy basements. Mom's house stood at the edge of the village. As I dragged my bags along the dirt road under the scorching sun, I cursed under my breath. Tiny pebbles in my sandals, sweat, shoulders aching from the weight of the bags, like hell. When I kicked open the gate, it slammed into the fence with a crash. I couldn't help myself. Damn it. Well, a guest has arrived. Came a voice from behind the house. It was Mom. She was drawing water from the well, hidden behind the bushes and fence. Seeing her, all the bad thoughts flew out of my head. We hugged. I'm a grown man now, but she's still Mom. I unpacked, ate. She'd prepared so much food the table was groaning. Cabbage soup, meatloaf, cookies, lemonade. I ate like a wolf. I'm glad you came. I was starting to think I'd manage on my own. The roof leaks, the fence wobbles. If it rains, everything's ruined. I listened to her, and inside, everything was boiling. Why this old house? It's 100 years old, needs repairs, there's no man around, and she won't give up. She never fixed it before, and now she won't. I came here to relax, not to work. Mom, be reasonable. Let's buy a cottage near the city, you can plant your zucchini. No. I've lived here all my life. And I'll stay here. I sighed heavily, but arguing was useless. Agreed, and that was that. The first 2 days I rested, read, helped her with little things. But on the 3rd day, I had to climb onto the roof. In the heat. In a Z shape. Sweat, muscle pain, evening, and I just collapsed into bed. Didn't even have the strength to check my phone. That night, something broke the silence. Not the clock, not a creak. It sounded like footsteps. But the house was quiet. Old house, maybe settling. I convinced myself. Morning started with back pain, but I finished the roof. Then the fence. Freed up by evening, I went to the old pond. It was empty. A couple of old men with fishing rods, and me, on a faded towel. That's it. The night was uneasy. I didn't want to fall asleep. Mom dozed off in front of the TV, I drank tea in the kitchen and thought about life. When I finally decided to lie down, I had to get up again. Tea. I went out into the dark hallway. Didn't turn on the light, Mom might wake up. And I should have. The basement hatch was open. Damn it. One more step. And I'd have fallen down. Mom. I called, fearing she might have fallen. Turned on the flashlight. Went downstairs. Tracks dirt. Stones. broken jars. And it all looked like someone had stomped in the mud and smeared it on the walls. I couldn't believe my eyes. "Jake, what are you doing down there?" Mom shouted from above. I got scared, dropped the phone. "Come down. See for yourself." She came down and gasped. There was no dirt or stains on her hands. So, it wasn't her. And it wasn't me. Then who? We placed the kitchen table on the basement hatch. In the morning, we put everything back in place, but the conversation seemed to freeze. She went to the neighbors, I tried to ask the locals, but met no one. It started to rain. She came back only in the evening. We had dinner in silence. Since then, everything went downhill. I couldn't sleep at night, kept worrying. Mom stayed up later than usual, watching TV until late. We hardly spoke. May was coming to an end. I had 4 days left, and I awaited them, not with joy, but with guilt. On the last evening, we drank. Mom made soup, brought out homemade tincture. The conversation flowed on its own, we even laughed. Then, to our rooms. I woke up in the middle of the night. Again, that damn tea. I went out of the room, and immediately realized, something's wrong. Turned on the light, dirt on the floor. Again. Clumps of earth. And the basement hatch was open again.